Well, I guess it starts now. So, just a quick question. Can you hear me? Okay. Well, is there anybody out there? I don't know if the link, I don't know if it posted right on Patreon. Okay. So, is there any audio too? Awesome. Okay. This is the first time I've used the broadcasting software I'm using. It's OBS or something, and it's apparently has a little flaw where if I plug my mic in and then pull it out and plug it back in again, it won't work. But yeah. Okay. So I think we'll just wait a couple of minutes just to give people a chance to get in here because I posted the link on Patreon, but it's scheduled for like 7:58 or something, so that wasn't really all that great. That's awesome. Oh, and just be aware that, and you guys probably know this, but I've never really been a part of a live stream before on YouTube, so there is quite a bit of lag. So for you to type something, it's going to be like 5 seconds before I see it. Good evening, Thomas. Yes, the interwebs are amazing. What? Thomas, you can't possibly have seen the video already. It's only been up for like 4 minutes. Okay. So, oh, the temps over here. Well, right now it is, well, it's freezing. It's 0 degrees. So, what's that? 32 Fahrenheit? 33? 32. Okay. Oh, and I think my girlfriend might actually be joining the live stream, not on camera because she's in LA, so sadly, but she might be joining in the chat. So if you guys see someone named Ava Corrado, that is my girlfriend, the lovely young woman right here. Thank you, Ken. Well, I do have a picture right here. Well, that's difficult, trying to like adjust for the glare when there's like a 5 seconds delay. Yes, she is adorable. Oh, Alfie, I saw you mentioned that you've got ice around your hull. So what do people normally do? Because that's a very common question I do when I get people wonder if like if the boat gets damaged by ice and if we have like bubblers like I know some marinas do in Sweden and in Norway. But do you guys do anything to like prevent the ice from forming around the hulls? Yeah, well, I do have a list of questions that people posted on the post on Patreon. Um, but I figured if any of you guys have some questions, we should just go straight to them, and I can always do another live stream, and other than take the ones from Patreon. You guys showed up, so I figured it would be fair to take those questions first. Oh, and if you guys see me nervously eyeing the top of my screen, it is just because I've got a little bandwidth meter up there, and I am slowly but surely running out of data for this month. So I've developed a nervous tick watching how much bandwidth I'm using. Okay. Okay, so a question. How long do you think the whole refit will take? Uh, well, I think it's more a question of will she ever be done? But I think there's always going to be some kind of project going on. But the plan is still to splash her this summer, and then in approximately 2 years have her ready to do an extended passage. So, for instance, cross the Atlantic to go to the US. But yeah, I don't think she'll ever be completely done. Okay, so Thomas is asking how the work is coming along here in the marina, and I'm assuming he's asking about the pontoons because we're busy changing out the pontoons here. And yeah, the one of our 4 pontoons is totally gone, and yeah, the new one should show up in a month or two, I guess. Okay, presumably you intended to replace the main water tank. Do you have any concerns about the distribution of the weight with the auxiliary tank? It looks like that much would pull Athena to port. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like it's the auxiliary tank, the water tank underneath the settee is only 150 liters. It's it's not that much weight, and a lot of it is towards the center of the boat. So I don't think the I don't think the that water tank is going to cause an issue. But yeah, I guess we'll see. Um, okay, our atmosphere normally keeps the boat warm enough that we have a couple of centimeters of water surrounding us. Okay, so yeah, Alfie, the same thing usually happens here. Whenever whenever we've had like thick ice here in the marina, and we get to a warm period, the ice will start melting around the boat, and then you have this little gap between the boat and the thick ice that's still there, which is really annoying because then when the wind picks up, then the boat gets slammed into that ice. And I mean, it hasn't damaged Obelix, but it's really annoying to try and sleep through that because it's loud and it's yeah. Um, Will you be changing the floor plan in Athena? So do you mean like the layout? Because Ava and I are considering some modifications to the forward cabin, but we're gonna go over this summer, and I don't know how much we can actually do that would be sensible to do, but we'll figure that out this summer. Oh yeah, can that it yeah, I'm sure it looked a lot bigger on camera. In reality, it wasn't that big. The main one was a lot bigger, and in this weekend I got that out of the boat, but I had to cut it in half to get it out. It was humongous. Um, yeah, I did get a few comments suggesting that I should re-weld the old tank. I talked to a couple of local guys, stainless steel welders, and they said well, they would gladly do it, but they recommended that I just get a new tank. They weren't sure it was gonna last, so yeah. Yes, I would love to. Love to learn how to weld, um, but I feel like trying to pick up that skill now might be not the best timing. Oh, the camera adds 10 liters. That is true. Yes, Thomas, there was some rust on the inside of the tank. One of the stainless steel guys said that the tank hadn't been acided after it was welded, which apparently is something you should do when welding stainless, otherwise it's not gonna last. I'm guessing that's why the tank started leaking. Well, that was what they said. Um, okay, so Roger's asking if I am considering a plastic tank or if I'm considering building it myself. I have looked at some of those PE welding videos that are on YouTube, and I think it's one of those things that looks super easy, but I'm sure I would make a mess of it and I would spend weeks just trying to learn that skill. So uh, well, I would love to be able to build one myself. That would be a lot of fun, but just given the time, I don't think I should try and pick up that skill. Yeah, well, that would be awesome, and maybe at some point in the future when I've moved aboard and I'm not under the same kind of time pressure I'm under right now, because I really want to get Athena in the water sometime this summer or early in the fall, and for that to happen, there's a lot of things I need to get done. Um, so well, I need to get the hull copper coated, and I need to get the new through hulls in there, and it would be awesome to have the sides of the cabin top painted, and have Kiwi Grip on the deck. And before I can do that, I need to get the new tow rail on there. And before I splash her, I would also like to get the new port lights in the um, replace the port lights in the sides of the hull on the top sides. So yeah. Okay, what do I plan on doing with Obelix when I'm done with Athena? I am going to sell her. So hopefully sometime this summer or in the fall I'll be able to list her, because having two boats is, well, it's a lot of boats. Yes, 5 years into a 3-year refit. Oh, Jesus, that, yeah. Um, okay, Pixiefish asks if it is my plan to live on Athena for an extended period, and yes, that is very much the plan. Um, the current plan is for both Ava and I to live aboard Athena for years and years, so yes, that is very much the plan. Cruising the world or Europe? That I noticed one of the questions someone had posted on the post on Patreon, and that was one of the questions where I was expecting to cruise, and well, to be honest, like I have always been drawn towards the higher latitudes, but I would happily go anywhere, um, because like right now it's cold in Denmark. Spending a bit of time somewhere warm, that would be pretty awesome, but then again, you get there and it's too warm. Somewhere cold would be nice. We'll see. I'm up for anything. What equipment are you planning to install on Athena? Washing machine, water maker, etc. Okay, so yes, washing machine because of convenience. And I know, like, when I mentioned that in a video, some people got their panties all up in a bunch because apparently it's not sailor-like to have a washing machine. I don't know. It's some people are weird. I I'm gonna be living aboard, and for me, it's no different than living in a house. So, would you like to live in a house without a washing machine? That just, yeah, that seems weird. Uh, okay, yeah, and what other equipment? Like, I am considering a water maker, but I don't know. Um, I guess we'll see. They are pretty expensive, and I don't have any experience with them personally. I know a lot of people have had mixed luck with them. Like they break down and they're expensive to fix. But we'll see. Other than that, as far as equipment goes, there will be some electronics. The Signal K gateway I've mentioned in some of the videos. Um, yeah, but other than that, not a bunch of electronics. Ah, Ian, that is an awesome question. If you could start the Athena refit over again, what would you change? Um, I think I would just rip everything out to start with and just take it from there. But yeah, yeah, that's just hindsight. I mean, I wasn't most of the stuff I've found I was aware of, but for instance, the deck and the wet stringers and the floors, those I were not those I weren't aware of, and also I do have a couple of wet knees where the chain plate attaches to the hull basically, and to replace those, I will have to do a little bit of demolishing. So yeah, I wish I would just have started by gutting the boat, but yeah. Uh, how do you make the decision to dig deep into an issue, electronic deck hull versus trying to just fix what you see? Oh, that is also an awesome question. Um, I wish I was better at just fixing the stuff I could see. Um, but yeah, like for instance, the floors, they're wet. Sure, they've been wet for 20 years. They are stiff. There are no soft spots in them. I my best guess is I could easily ignore that for another 10 or 20 years and it wouldn't be an issue. But yeah. Okay. Have you played around with the ladder panda you bought a couple of months ago? I haven't actually. I have not had the time. It is sitting in a box, sadly. And I've just, is it a couple of weeks ago, I think I saw they had, was it a Kickstarter or was it just a product for sale? But I think they have a new Wonder machine that has more oomph and more better. Okay, what is a Ladder Panda? A Ladder Panda is like a small single board computer with, I think the one I've got has like an Atom CPU. Basically, it's a tiny little board that runs a Windows computer. If you didn't rip up the floors, you wouldn't have found all of the water that was soaking the hull, so sometimes it works out for the better. Yes, that is true. That is true. It's, yeah. I am curious. I wish I knew someone that worked at the yard that built the Warriors back in the day, because it's, some of the things they've done just seem like it's not, it's either a bad design or just someone being sloppy. Like, for instance, the limber holes that are glassed over, and also there was another thing where when they went to put on the deck, one of the bulkheads, or actually the bulkheads in both of the sides, were a little too tall, so they cut a hole in the bottom skin of the deck instead of just cutting some off the bulkheads. It would be fun to get sort of the inside scoop of what the heck went on at that yard in the 80s. Okay, so the scrolling. Are you going to upgrade the engine to NMEA 2000 to be able to show information on your DIY Signal K display? Okay, Asbjørn, that is an awesome question. There is a tiny little company that makes marine electronics. It's all NMEA 2000 stuff. I think they're called DigiYacht, or no, not. I'll find a link for them. But they have different NMEA stuff that's not terribly expensive. They have like a little barometer, a little temperature logger, stuff like that. But they also have an very affordable NMEA 2000 gateway for I guess it's for, well, it's definitely for Volvo engines, but also other brands. So that I am very much considering adding. Yes, Yacht devices, I think. Yacht devices. Well, I'm not going to Google that now. That would just be silly for you to look at a guy Googling something. But if any of you can find the little thing I'm talking about, that would be awesome, and post a link for that. Okay. Pixiefish asks, I want a washer dryer combo too. Have you researched which one? I'm thinking about one of those single combo units all in one. Do you know of any? It's funny you should ask, because yesterday I spent way too much time chatting to one of the other guys that has his boat in the yard. He has a huge catamaran that he's doing some stuff on, and he mentioned that he had just found a washer dryer combo from LG, I think, that was that had the width of a normal washer dryer, but was only 40 centimeters deep. And that sounded really cool, but I think he's gonna get one. We'll see how that works out, and then maybe I'll get one too. I've been impressed. Okay. Oh yeah, Thomas, that's right. You were there when, I actually think it was you that found that stupid bulkhead hole in the bottom skin thing. Do you have any plans to do anything to make Athena especially dog friendly? That's a good question, Ian. I am gonna have to come up with some kind of ramp so that Jökull, or Mr. Snuggles, which is his most recent nickname, so that he can get on and off the boat without me having to lift him. Other than that, I think he's going to be able to jump down the companionway easily enough. He's actually quite a good climber, so yeah. Other than that, I don't really think there's much I can do to make it more dog friendly. He's gonna be happy there for sure. So on another one, what was the URL to your t-shirt store? Okay, dang it, I can't remember the URL, but I'll post a link for that. We are planning to go cruising someday too, but are looking at different ways of financing it. Are you planning on working as you go, or not got that far in the planning yet? Yeah, my plan has always been to finance a cruising lifestyle by working in the off-season. As some of you know, I have a background in IT. I'm a software developer, and it is very easy for me to get work, freelance work. So basically it would be a matter of finding somewhere to hunker down for the off-season that has decent Wi-Fi and just top off the cruising kitty. Yes, Pixiefish, I will text the guy and I will send you a message. You know what, I gotta find some kind of piece of paper to write all of this stuff down, because I'm not gonna be able to remember this. Okay. Okay, Pixiefish, that is noted. Yes, Pixiefish, that is exactly right. Yachtd.com Products Engine Gateway. That sounds very familiar. And I haven't had a chance to test out any of their doohickeys yet, but that would be awesome. They are not terribly expensive, and yeah. Okay. Okay, Ken asks about Ava's level of sailing experience and if we've sailed together in California. So Ava just passed her, what's the name of the thing? The American Sailing Association's, I can't remember the name. Is it Basic Keelboat? Anywho, we haven't sailed together yet, but I'm sure we will soon. Think you could solve the U.S. government shutdown if you're not too busy with Athena? I'll do my very best. I'm not sure I'm cut out for politics. A bit of mind work small, but on the engine meter. Cool. Oh, thank you, JT. So JT asks if I have found the speakers I asked for in a video way back. I haven't, and I gotta say I'm kind of leaning towards maybe getting one of those 360 Bluetooth thingies. I don't know. I haven't heard one of those in real life yet, so I don't know how horrendous they sound. I'm sure they're good. So that's something I'm considering instead of putting in speakers, because there isn't anywhere like obvious to put the speakers, because I would either end up with the back of a speaker poking into the the forward shower, or yeah, it's not gonna be pretty. Oh yes, so it was basic keelboat. Awesome. Ah, run with the wind. I'm assuming you're asking about Ava's skill level on doing boat work. Well, she is very accomplished at crafting and DIY, so I'm sure she will do an excellent job. Actually, we were talking about this summer she's coming to Europe, and we might have time to like work a couple of days on Athena. I think that would make for a fun video, but we'll see what happens. Nothing is set in stone yet. Have you found the Sailing Freestyle YouTube channel? Sailing Freestyle. I don't think I've found that one. I'll put it on the list and I'll check it out. Okay. Okay, do you watch any cruising channels? That's a question from Chris. I do, oh sorry, I watch Greg Paragon. I like their videos because they are more, let's say, down to earth. I haven't watched any of the bigger cruising channels for years. I don't know what their content is like now, but back when I last saw some of their videos, it was a lot about partying and stuff, and that's just not my lifestyle. So it's not, yeah. And it's not what my cruising life is going to be like either. That's going to be more like what's going on in Drake and Mo's videos. And yes, Sailing Around is pretty cool. I like those guys. But yeah. Could you comment on what it costs monthly for a winter laydown spot over there? For a boat like Athena, it's costing me about 350 over here. A winter laydown spot. So is that up on the hard or is that in the water? If it's up on the hard, it would be $100, and if it is for the winter season in the water, it would be $200 for the entire thing, not per month, but $100 for the entire winter and $200 for the entire winter in the water. Do you know if the Makita angle grinder vacuum attachments fits to the Bosch angle grinders? Asbjørn, I don't know if the dust shroud I've got for the Makita will fit on any Bosch angle grinders. I could test the new Bosch angle grinder I've got. Just from the look of it, when I put the safety doohickey on it this weekend, I don't think it'll fit, but I will give it a try and I'll send you a message. Okay. If you ever feel like you are taking on too much boat work, check out Samson Boat. Oh yeah, Samson Boat Co. I'm sure most of you guys have seen that crazy guy by now. I think he's a British guy that's restoring an old wooden boat. Yes, Tally Ho. He seems like a pretty cool guy, and his channel has grown like a lot. I think he's got like 5 videos and like 21,000 subscribers, but he's doing a good job. Okay, I know you are installing the diesel heater system. Do you plan on installing air conditioning for the tropics? That is a good question. I don't think I'll do that before leaving Denmark. Let's just see what happens. If we need it, I'll install it. Okay, a question about satellite data. Have you found any satellite data solutions which are reasonable? The short answer is no. Well, that depends. I think Drake and Mo got a pretty good deal on one of those Iridium Go thingies. I don't think that was horrendously expensive, but then again, if you think about the bandwidth you're getting, like it's snail pace slow. You're only going to be able to get weather data. So, I mean, if I was able to do more social media stuff, I would happily pay more, but I don't think that's gonna be available for us mere mortals anytime soon. Um, have Having just spent a couple of weeks in the winter season in the Caribbean, air condition is really, really nice. Ken, I have no doubt. I have no doubt. And I am horrible at dealing with heat. So I have a strong idea that by the time I reach the southern parts of Denmark, I'm going to wish for air conditioning. But yeah, I hadn't really considered it yet because the summers here are so cold. It's miserable. Um, what are your plans for selling Obelix? I am planning on listing her sometime this summer as soon as I have splashed Athena and have moved aboard Athena, because I would like to fix up the port aft cabin just to get some slats on the side of the hull. Um, that's basically the only thing I still need to do in there. After that's done, I can sell Obelix. Are you thinking about any mods like hull reinforcement or stronger standing rigging to handle rough weather conditions? Uh, not really. I saw this interesting blog post from a German guy that reinforced the um, part of the keel and his skeg with some kind of Kevlar. But I had a chat with a local composite company, and they said that the amount of strength that would add would be negligible. It wasn't worth the effort. So I don't have um, any current plans. The extra glass I'm putting on the hull before applying copper coat, I've mentioned that in some of the previous videos. That is mainly because I saw that worked on the osmosis treatment the previous owner did like 8 or 9 years ago. And I think the good thing about that is that you're getting the fibers from the hull. You're getting that like um, you're not going to have that poke through the primer and cause wicking, which is what I think was the biggest issue with Athena when I got her. What sail configuration will you have? Nothing too glorious. I think she came with an asymmetric spinnaker, but yeah, some kind of downwind sail would be nice. I guess we could just go like butterfly, but yeah, we'll see. I'm Let's get her in the water first. Hopefully the SpaceX internet satellite constellation will be affordable when they are up and running. Well, that would be freaking amazing. And I think, was it Samsung or Google like 5 years ago had some kind of plan of covering parts of the world with Wi-Fi through satellite, but it never worked out. But yeah, that we need high-speed internet over satellite. Uh, will you do an ARC for solar? Yes, most definitely. Most definitely. Well, I mean, I'll get a stainless steel guy to make the arch. Well, I guess that would be kind of a cool project. But then again, I don't know how to weld, so I should, yeah. Well, I don't know. By that time, I will have moved aboard, so I won't be as pressed for time. Well, we'll see. But yes, I am going to have an arch for solar. How far in the future have you thought about your modifications? Do you know 90% of what you are going to be doing, or do you think only 1 or 2 projects ahead in advance? Okay, so I know what I'm gonna be doing for the next 6 months very specifically, because that's all gonna be stuff that I would like to have sorted before getting Athena splashed. After that, it's more a vague idea of what I'm going to be doing, because I am going to be replacing the teak in the cockpit, and I am going to be making some modifications to the forward cabin and possibly the heads. But yeah, that's it's just a vague idea, and of course I still need to rewire the DC aboard the boat. That's something I'm really looking forward to. That'll be fun. That'll be a lot of fun. Learn welding, not hard at all, and fun and very practical. Okay, that settles it. Welding is on the list for after when I've moved aboard. How much battery capacity do you see yourself bulking up on? Battery capacity, that is a good question. I made a spreadsheet about 2 years ago, and that came out to a battery capacity of 500 to 600 amp hours. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go over that again, but that's ballpark. Miller has a nice TIG welding unit. When you go to stainless, and I predict that you'll make an excellent welder. Thank you, Roger. Yeah. I've always wanted to learn how to weld. I think that would be a lot of fun. Have you considered converting one of the 2 heads to a composter? I don't think we're going to be doing that. Ava and I had a chat about it, and neither of us are really in favor of a composting head. I considered putting one in aboard Obelix, but here in Denmark we are not allowed to have composting heads, so I didn't. Run with the wind. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. Any more questions out there in internet land? Are you going for lithium batteries? Ooh. I am not made of money, so no. But yeah, I guess at some point the lithium batteries are going to be more reasonably priced. Do you have any shirts that aren't some variant of? Yeah. Well, I do. I've got my Sail Life T-shirts. Those are just like plain blue, no kind of stripes or anything. But that's basically it. Sorry, Mas, can't remember if you scuba dive. Do you have any plans to install a compressor if that's the case? I actually used to work as a dive instructor within PADI. So yeah, having a compressor aboard the boat would be freaking awesome. They are pretty expensive though. Oh, 12 chickens and 2 dogs had a good question about planning. Did I skip a question? Oh, how far in the future have you thought out your modifications? Well, Yeah, so that was I tried answering that. I might have been a little fast in answering that, but basically I know what I'm going to be doing for the next 6 months. After that, I only have a vague idea of what I'll be doing. Um, would you consider looking at my new YouTube blog? I'm just starting out my projects. Sure, Picturefish. Just send me a link and I'll take a look. Ah, 12 chickens and 3 dogs. Yeah, I really like those t-shirts. Um, I think I've had mine for like a year and a half now, and they're super comfy. Do you have any plans for external power plant, diesel generator, or stick to solar? That is a good question. And that kind of ties into the dive compressor, but I haven't figured all of that out yet. That's, yeah. My so far my only planning is that the starboard aft cabin is going to be like the electronics room, and I guess a compressor or a generator would go in there, although that would require modifying the door in there because it's very narrow, but we'll see what happens. um, have you thought of learning tube bending? Another nice skill to have for building dodges, etc. I actually, when I did the refit on Obelix, I needed a couple of new tubes for the spray hood, and I tried bending those myself, and it was a horrible failure. So I ended up ordering some. It would be nice to have that skill for sure, but I don't currently have that skill. Have a look at the LG Chem House batteries, like Tesla Powerwall, small 3. That sounds pretty cool. If you go lithium, you can weld while you're at anchor. Yes, that would be pretty cool. Will you install davits? That that is a good question. That's a good question. I haven't really figured out what to do about the tender situation yet. I was awfully tempted to build a tender myself, but that's more because I want to build a small boat. It's not because I think I could build a good tender, if that makes sense. Um, so yeah, I haven't figured out the tender situation, but once I figure that out, I can figure out if I want to put on davits or not. Um, but yeah, putting it up on the foredeck is definitely an option. That would probably be what I would go for. My wife is curious about your experience with seasickness during the Atlantic crossing. Do you know what triggered it? Do you have strategies for avoiding the reaction in the future? Okay, so the thing about the seasickness, uh, I have been seasick exactly 2 times in my life, and unfortunately, both those times have been while I was making YouTube videos. I'm not super prone to seasickness. I know what caused it on the trip from Portugal to the Canary Islands. That was a little bit more of a complex situation. I don't want to go into the details on that. On the way home from Scotland, I forgot to eat breakfast one day, and that was what put me over the edge, I think. But other than that, I'm not concerned about the seasickness situation. Are you able to work remotely? Yes, that is, well, it requires me to have decent internet access, but when I have internet access, yes, I can work remotely, and that is a huge advantage for a cruising lifestyle. Total Boat has an interesting channel about building different tenders because you have nothing else. Yes, that is awesome. So yeah, Totalboat has an interesting channel about building different tenders, you know, because you don't have anything else to do. So yeah. I think I've actually seen, that's the one with the shipwright, right? The channel is called Tips from a Shipwright or something. It's an older guy. Oh, hi Mess. Yes, that's the guy. That's the guy. He is pretty cool. I would love to meet that guy at some point. But yeah, but the boats, I think I've seen the dory he built, and then I've seen some of his recent videos. The videos are pretty awesome. I think he's got some kind of crew there to film. Um, but those boats are probably a little heavy for a tender. Do you have any formal sailing qualifications, or do you have enough previous experience? If not, are you planning on taking any? I have the the basic sailing course you get here in Denmark. I don't know what that equates to in any other standard, but yeah, there's like a practical thing where you have an exam. There's also um, like a theoretical part where there's an exam, and then I was a member of a sailing school for 2 years. But other than that, I have no formal training. Um, okay, presumably there is a clock running on this live stream. Are there any other questions from Patreon which haven't been asked and answered here? Okay, Ken, that is a good question. Let us just take a quick look at the questions from Patreon. Okay, so I can't really, well, I guess I could put them in the chat. Oh, yeah, Chris. So Chris asks if I've had any YouTube viewers randomly dropping by here in Skive. And yes, that happens almost every week. And it's usually a lot of fun. In a lot of the videos, you can see my address on packages and stuff, and I guess people just notice that and they show up and say hi, and it's always a lot of fun. And I've had people from Australia or New Zealand pop by, a couple of Americans, some British guys, Swedish guys, just from all over. It was kind of cool. So Mass asks a question, will this be viewable on demand afterwards? Yes, I'm planning on keeping these videos unlisted, but posting a link to them on Patreon. Okay. Once you finish the rebuild, have your plans? Are you sailing around to work, leave work, etc.? Yeah. So okay. So the plan for the immediate future is to finish Athena, and then in maybe 2 years, cross the Atlantic, pick up Ava, and then we'll figure out what to do. But yeah, the plan at that point is to quit my job and leave, but I will continue to work remotely for like freelance stuff in the off season. That's the plan. Roger asks if would you consider a splash party when Athena is probably in the water? Yeah, sure. Let's have a little housewarming once Athena is in the water. That would be a lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun. Okay, so let's check out the list of questions from Patreon. So James has like a bunch of questions. He asks, the first question is, your English is very good. You seem to use a lot of American expressions. Did you live abroad at some point in the past? I have never lived abroad. As you can hear, English isn't my first language. It is still a secondary language, and it's in situations like this where there's like a lot going on in the chat. Sometimes it fails me. But no, I've never lived abroad. I picked up English from watching movies. That's it. Insulation. God damn it. Oh, thanks, Ken. That's awesome. It's always good to know someone that's actually doing it and can provide some inspiration. Oh, thanks, guys. Well, I am sure over the next couple of years, my English is going to continue to improve. Maybe in a couple of years, it'll be perfect. Fingers crossed. Okay, so back to James' questions. His second question was, how come you install the two smaller forward hatches sideways instead of opening towards the front or the back? That seems to be a slightly unusual arrangement. Yes. Well, the short answer to that question is that's how they came on the boat originally. I think that's the same for all the warriors. They have those hatches mounted so that they. Oh, is the connection acting up? Yeah. It's. I've been having a lot of issues with my ISP over the last couple of months. Remember I mentioned I wanted to do a live stream between New Year's and Christmas. Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe for the next live stream I can figure something out. I'll see what I can do, but it's yeah. Okay. So James' question was regarding the two smaller hatches. About Athena opening, like being installed in a bit of an unusual fashion, and that's how they came with about the warriors. That's how I think all the warriors have those hatches oriented. So yeah, and also I chose, well, you know what? I'm gonna go into that question in the next video because that's something I've seen pop up in the comments quite often. So in next weekend's video, I'm gonna touch on the port lights and the orientation of those. Next question from James is, when are you coming out to Los Angeles again? The short answer to that question would be 53 days. Are you planning on doing a meet and greet? Yes. Eva and I are planning on doing that because she's actually coming along, I think. So we are planning on doing that on the, frantically looking at a calendar, March 18. March 18, I think. Oh, is the connection just rubbish? Oh, you're cool. Up. Yep, this is Mr. Snuggles. Oh. Well, it must be the other stupid liveaboards that are... Mr. Snuggles is six years old. Okay. Will it be all boat work come summer, or will you be taking some time off? Well, Ava and I are gonna go check out Norway and possibly Svalbard, which is gonna be a lot of fun, and maybe tour some of Europe. But we'll see. We will have some time off. Yeah, Thomas, you're probably right. It's Idefix. That's Camilla and Sebastian's boat. You've seen those guys in some of the videos. They're right on the other side of the pontoon here. They're probably watching some kind of streaming TV. The bastards. Okay, back to the questions from James. You sand a lot of fiberglass, but I never hear you talking about it making you itchy. Does it bother your skin at all, or are you immune to it? No, I am definitely not immune. That is itchy as all heck. Yeah, but yeah. The Tyvek suit helps, and gloves and stuff, but it's itchy as all heck. His last question is, do you have to clean a lot of dog fur out of your bilge pump? No, because actually the bilge pump here aboard Athena broke, like, here aboard Obelix, sorry, broke, like, I don't know, was it like a year after installing it or something like that? It was ridiculous. So Morten asks, where in Norway? Somewhere around Oslo, Bergen. We're gonna go for a hike in Jotunheimen, stuff like that. Does your back injury cause you problems continually? Does it concern you about the sailing in the future? Is it manageable? Well, it is manageable, but it is chronic. So I have chronic pain, but you learn to live with that. It's annoying, it's bad, but it's okay. Like you can learn to live with that. And whenever I do stuff that I enjoy, I sometimes forget about the pain, and that's really awesome. Any chance you're coming to the Defender spring sale again? Well, I'm gonna be in LA from the middle of March to the beginning of April. I think that's when the Defender sale is, right? Isn't that like in the last weekend in March or the first weekend in April? Okay, so let's just... So 3 other people ask questions. They have like a couple of questions each. So let's just burn through those. When Darlene asks when we'll meet Ava on camera. Maybe in March, otherwise this summer. Well, if that's okay with Ava, of course. Are you planning on... Oh, are you planning another Defender shopping trip this spring? Well, like I said, I'm probably gonna be in LA during the sale. So, but yeah, there's always next year. And it would be fun to bring Ava to that sale. Okay, so the next person that asked a question is Jan. What is the name of the book on boat wiring that you told us about in one of your videos? I've actually got that right here. It's this book. Mechanical and Electrical Manual. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Check out Amazon for it. It's actually not that expensive. It's a pretty good deal for that book. Okay. So Jan asks, in your travels, do you think you'll continue to work? Yes, I will work remotely. off season. That's the plan. Ah, yes, Roger and Run with the Wind. The book is awesome, and the Nigel guy, I see him popping up everywhere. He seems very knowledgeable. In your travels, do you think you'll continue to work? Yes, answered that. In your northern travels, do you plan to come to Canada? Well, yes, I would love to spend some time in Canada. I had so much fun with Alfie from Life is Like Sailing when I visited him in Vancouver. Um, um, sorry, Ava just texted me and I just lost my train of thought. She's hilarious. That's what she is. Okay, the last person that asked a question on Patreon was Bill. Where do you picture yourself sailing to in general? And I think we covered that. Like, there's nowhere I don't want to go. Well, I would be less inclined to go to the Med because that's just I've seen some of the Med. It doesn't have that big of an appeal for me. But other than that, I'm up for basically anything. And that was all the questions from Patreon. So, oh yes, JT asks if I'm considering trying out the Northwest Passage. Maybe, yes, that is very much on the bucket list. Okay. Anybody else got any questions? If not, I'm gonna see if I can call my ISP and yell at them, or if tech support is already closed. Okay, well, thank you, Ken, and thanks for joining. Now the stream is running fine. Psh, well, okay. Well, I think we'll do this again, maybe in 2 weeks or something like that. I don't know. Well, from the poll I posted on Patreon, it seemed like most of you guys, um, it would be best if it was like Saturday or Sunday night. So I think we'll stick to that. But maybe in a couple of weeks we'll do this again. Okay. Well, have an awesome whatever tiny bit is left of your weekend, guys, and I will see you next week. Okay. See you.